How is everyone doing this rise? I pray everything is good with everyone. Today's program will just be, focusing a bit on, local events here in St. Lucia. I pray that all of the are and blessed and blessed love. Give thanks. Dr. BSR 9729. Give thanks. Um, Royal blessings, Rastafari blessings, class in session, give thanks. Astral healing, blessed love, give thanks. King love, heal up. Well, giving thanks, give thanks. Give thanks for everyone that is with us. Leonardo, honorable, blessed love, give thanks. I am doing blessed astral healing. Give thanks for asking. Most times people don't ask me how I'm doing. So it's always so refreshing when someone just asks how you doing. People always assume that the priest is good. Yeah. Give thanks. We're about to start off our live program right now. Give thanks. Yes, we do give thanks for life and a mighty life giver. Ohusu Kuramoa. Give thanks, my honorable brother. Love, love, love. Yes, brother, bro, give thanks. And as you know, we are live here in studio here in St. Lucia. Mother Earth Healing Juices. Blessed love, right? Honorable priest. Oh, sorry about that. I just raised this up to probably give thanks for going live tonight despite challenges you may have faced. Yeah, we know we always. So we live here. So you could see studio live here. We live in studio. So it's not like as if we just doing the TV program. We are doing plenty other programs. Um, as we live on Instagram and on the Tube, we are also live on television, national television in St. Lucia. And today we're just going to, just have a little reasoning about life and how things have been going even here in St. Lucia. As the sister was saying, like challenges that I myself, Honorable Priest Kailash, have been facing. And yes, I mean for those people who are in St. Lucia, they would have probably seen the news of one of my blood brothers, being gunned down and killed. One of my brothers, that is the brother right after me, born in at 48 years, 48 years of age, being shot and killed right here in St. Lucia, and plenty people on our live, probably if you're not from St. Lucia, probably you might not have heard, but this is something that, I mean, our previous program on Sunday gone, we were really speaking of the whole aspect of goodness, of just doing good and the works of just being good, and when we actually check out what has been happening in the nation, and people, well, some of the news reporters would ask, how does it feel, Priest Kailash, now that someone close to you have actually been taken away in the wave of violent crimes in St. Lucia? Because right now in St. Lucia there are a lot of gun deaths, a lot of shootings, a lot of young people actually just lose their lives, via violence. People just kill, and man and woman. So it was on Thursday evening that, my 48-year-old brother was actually shot and killed, in a horrific manner. And when I analyze it, I say to myself, well, yes, it is my blood brother that was killed, and then, every other black man that is killed, have affected us because we have literally been working on rehabilitating, helping, trying to help people. That's why we have the Rising of the Gods retreat, which is basically to bring the man to his God self, and when it is that you have this level of violence, for last week, it was like a woman was actually shot, in her head, four, I think was four or so, gunshots in her head. Then another young man was shot, who was like the nephew of the police commissioner. All condolences to her and her family, and the sister, the nurse, that was shot dead in a vehicle. Then you have another young fellow who was shot, and then on the Thursday evening, my brother was shot. And people are still dying. So when you really examine the level of violence even within St. Lucia, we at Mount Kailash Rejuvenation Center, and then the Ubuntu Rastafari Cultural Center, and the Ubuntu movement, this is something that we have been working on steadfastly when it comes to the rehabilitation of people, and then just giving people that opportunity just to become a better individual. And it is very important that people blame all type of things for the death and destruction, but we must understand that the youths nowadays are a product of our society, you know. So it is not like the 20-year-old and the 18-year-old came out of Mars or Jupiter or Uranus and then just landed here. The people, the youngsters, the young people, they came from a home, meaning that they will live in a family, they have mother, they have father, and they have all these. Yes, Prophet Amon, give thanks, my Lord. They have mother, they have father, they have all different types of people within their family, uncles, aunties, so you have this home that this child is actually born in, and they are nurtured and nourished, and energy is put into them, whether good or bad, and from the home, these people that go into this educational system, right, whereby they from 5 years, some even like from 2 years, people go into daycare, and daycare is really they don't care, so when you say you send your child to a daycare, they don't really care in the daycare, they don't care in the daycare. No one would be able to take care of your 2-year-old child or your 1-year-old child better than you as the mother of that child and the father of that child. So when I move through the streets of the city and I see like 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds, so sometimes you would see like a 5-year-old walking I'm talking about in the middle of the city, right? You'll see a 5-year-old holding the hand of a 3-year-old, and they walk in the streets going to school by themselves, and you'll probably see a 10-year-old holding a 5-year-old hand walking the streets going to school, So when you have a society whereby you have 5-year-olds leading 2-year-olds and 10-year-olds leading 7 and 5-year-olds, and you have children, being left to actually, go through the traffic. I'm just saying, like the traffic of the city. So you see two little children in their school uniform walking the streets, crossing the roads. And I'm sure any of you that's here from any of the Caribbean countries, or any of you, even in those metropolitan countries. You understand. Yes, Tess Magda, blessed love, honorable. You understand that um, a lot of the times we see children leading children in society. So you see, well, the homes whereby the parent supposed to be doing more than just paying the rent, because you're not just a parent, you don't just pay the rent. A parent is more than paying the rent. A parent don't just pay rent to just make sure that the child has a house. A parent is the guardian, is the one that's supposed to be culturing, the one that's supposed to be nurturing, the one that's supposed to be giving love to these children. And I'm a 45-year-old man, and in my life, I was a grown man, probably 30 years when my mother first was able to express that she loves me, you know. So we are coming from a society whereby parents find it very difficult just to express love to their children, just to say I love you. So probably because people watch TV nowadays and all different type of things, I mean, parents are able to even communicate a bit freer with their children. They might tell them I love you, or give them a hug, or squeeze them, or take care of them. But there is a generation of us, and any of you here that is on the live here from St. Lucia, right? Any of you here on the live from St. Lucia, you know, that is probably over 35. Okay, how many of you, right, have your mother, continually growing up used to tell you I love you? Tell me, when was the last time that your mother tell you that they love you? And you are over the age of 35, you are 40, you are 45. How many of you, grow up in a home where your mother used to say, I love you, or your mother used to give you a hug, or your mother used to squeeze you, or your mother used to basically show that level of affection, you know? So, yes, Bush Empress, yes, she did. Theo Pepe, most definitely honorable, you know? And can remember my mom doing that, Megan Foster, and it is something that basically we never, it was something that was difficult for the parents to even just being able to just express that love. And it's not because the parents did not love their children. It is because that there was that fear that the parents have of even showing love, in the fear of the love that they show to their children be used against them, in by using their children to cause them pain. you know um, so many of us as children, growing up, we never used to get hugs and kisses. If you over 45, right, and you grow up in these homes, you never used to get your love and the hugs and the kisses and the I love you and oh you awesome, and look, someone say they're 22 and they have not experienced it. Daniel GY, give, I don't know if you're a man or a woman, give thanks, I love the eye. And I pray that, I'm gonna tell you that I love the eye, and I pray that the Creator, bless you and keep you, and yeah, so give thanks, right? And it is very important that we understand that, just the fact that we could utter constructive words, right? The constructive words to our children, to be able to show them that high level of love, to be able to, to hold them and squeeze them and hug them and be able to express to them a level of love and affection, you know. these things there was like impossible. My mother used to, you know, you know, um, push me away if I want to see my mother. I couldn't try and hug my mother because growing up and being aware, you know, of all these things there. My mother used to push me away just because I would attempt to come and give her a hug. Until at the age of 30 something, my mother was free enough to hug me and to tell me that she loves me. You know, so it is important that as a people, it's important that as a people that we understand that this is what um this is the factory that creates children. Was Theo Pepe saying, as a 46-year-old woman, I only had my mother in my life for maybe 3 years of mother's presence in my life. I now understand love, but I still find it difficult to tell my mother I love her freely. Well, what I would say is that just the fact that your mother, was able to create you, was to push you out, of a bosom. Even if my mother, right, never tell me these things until at a particular age, I learned that through the fact that my mother, I love my mother deeply, and my father deeply, deeply. I love these people because they are the physical representative of God to me, So your mother and father, whether or not they ever express love to you, they are the physical representation, right, of God. That is your creator. So if we have to think about who created you, who brought you into existence, it wasn't just an abracadabra kazam and then you just appeared. It came from the interaction of penis and vagina, testicles and ovaries, man and woman that came together, sperm and egg, and then you were created in that light, right? And when it is that you actually come into creation, right, that alone is enough. The fact that your mother, carried you for 9 months, right, and pushed you out into the world, didn't abort you, and just gave you an opportunity to live, even if afterwards just drop you up on a step. That's reason enough to honor your mother and love your mother and your father, just because they actually gave you that life, that that opportunity to become someone that could contribute positively towards creation. So I personally, it's not because your parents don't show that higher level of love that means that we're not supposed to love them. Being of that higher level of understanding, knowing that the fact that we got that opportunity to live, you know, is enough. You could love you just because your mother pushed you out into the world, and even if she drop you on a step and never do anything for you again, that's enough reason to say give thanks. I love you. So tell your mother that you love her, and as the saying goes, he that know better do better. So for me to get the first hug and kiss from my mother, and the first touch and the first blessing, it was something that I drew out of her by blessing her up and loving her and touching her and holding her, and showing her love. Yes, as someone said in the comments, that their grandmother, my grandmother, is really who actually, you know, took care of me. My grandmother, I mean, come on, my grandmother was like my mother. So I was blessed to have like a wonderful grandmother who took me up like her own, and took care of me and showed me love and affection. So even if my biological mother never did it, you know, I received it from my grandmother. I got to know my father probably um, when I was at the age of I think probably about 10, 11. or 9, 10ish, where I really began to develop that relationship with my daddy, you know. So I understanding the significance of mother and father, just being wise, you know. I deliberately invested time and energy in developing like a relationship with my mother and my father, because I understand the spiritual representation of your mother and your father. Your mother and your father, right? Being that physical manifestation of God on earth. They are our creators. They create us. So yes, God the Almighty, created us. But our physical mother and father, right, were the one that are the ones that physically, right, represents that God principle of creating you, egg and sperm, and pushing you out into the world. And all these mothers who breastfeed their children, allow them to suck from their pups. And the fathers who go out and work hard, all hard work and thing to take care of their children. So we give thanks for that. So it is not that we are saying that the majority of us as elders, right, over 40, right, have never, received love from our parents. So when you hear that, as we were saying in the inception of the amount of violence in St. Lucia, whereby, we have so many young people dying, man and woman getting shot, you know, and as I said, even I myself lost a brother to violence on Thursday evening, Thursday night. My 38-year-old brother was gunned down. You know, um, that's not when it hit home to me. As I was saying, I'm always one who cares for the loss of life, because it's a battle, good versus evil. So when it is that you see these type of things, they're happening in creation, we understand that the creator, the God energy, right, literally, supports life. So when your work represents giving life and enhancing in life and giving life to people, and then another work represents taking away of life, death and murder and suffering, that means that you have that direct fight between good and evil. So we say, as His Imperial Majesty said, even in the 20th century, Dave with good, with faith, you know, on a just cause, David will still slew Goliath. Give thanks for all the condolences, but I give thanks for all those people who often send their love, but I'm not just saying this because I'm looking for just pity. I'm saying this because this is our this is the reality of what is happening in our world, whereby a lot of our young men are being slaughtered, are being killed. They are not being given an opportunity for them to blossom. And when young people are taken away in that manner, there is that ripple effect, of all the people within that from the father, so my father take it very hard, then the mother will take it very hard, then the nieces and nephews will take it very hard, and the sisters will take it very hard. So not everyone would have that level of understanding, whereby they understand the spiritual, aspects of how things happen within creation. So a lot of people would actually suffer and they'll pain and they'll feel this sharp pain within the inside of the loss of a loved one through violence. And then you say, what gives another person the right to take the life of another person? Then you say to yourself, then at the end of the day, you know, the 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 outcome that we are seeing now, give thanks for all those of you sending condolences, all heart of love to all of you all. The outcome of what we are seeing now is that, you know, is that the youths and them are products of our society. That's why I was saying the children are born into families, homes that have a responsibility to nurture and culture and to grow up children. Then these children are sent into schools, and these schools supposed to nurture, culture, educate, put these children on the right path of life. Then within the communities, you have groups and sports clubs, and then you have um, churches, and you have all different levels of societal infrastructure and groups and things that's supposed to be guiding and creating and pushing forward that level of love to ensure that our younger people come out of the system as positive people that contribute. You know, I was identified as an extraordinary child. You know, when I was 10 years and I was in secondary school, I never knew I was bright. You know, I never knew that I was like really bright. I never knew that. It was a teacher by the name of Dr. Charles, Mr. Charles, who actually saw my talents at 9, 10 years and took me close to him, you know, and and assisted me to see that I was a talented child, to the extent that he now, showed me and used to send me into little um, drama and dance and this and that, just all different type of things, just to help me foster and build up my persona, my personality. Workshops and all different type of things. Used to come to my home and talk to my mother, and bring me to his home, and so it is the extraordinariness of these people. Right? Give thanks for the condolences, blessed love. It is the extraordinariness of these people that come into your life at a young and tender age, that teaches you of your true value, your true potential, what you are fully able to achieve, that helps you to actually rise up. So I am not just prescale today because of my own doing. I am a product of society. I am a product, of my grandmother and my mother and my father, and my cousins I grew up with. Give thanks, Eddie Bellas. Right? I am a product of Dr. Charles and all these other teachers, right, that actually came into my life and guided me and made me see that I was someone special. I was someone that was worth saving. I was someone that I never knew that myself, that I had that level of intelligence and I was a genius. I never knew that. And from the time that this teacher took the time out to educate me and show me who I was, from 3 years in my education, and in every year we used to have like end of term exams. So every year you have 3 exams. So in the 3 years, for 9 consecutive like exams, end of term exams, I always used to come first. Always come first in my class. Always come first in my class. Always come first in my class. And I never knew I was bright. I never knew I was bright. So our youths, our children are a product of society. We are the ones that create the monsters that society have. And we are the ones that create the blessings that society have. So it is important that as a people, you know, that we understand and we see what is happening, that the battle that we are fighting So between good and evil, and that people on the whole, just stay focused and come together in that understanding that even the program we had previous Sunday about just supporting the good. What can you do when you see something good is happening that you could just support that good? And many people tell you, if I really tell you how it is in this lifetime, you know, sometimes you have to laugh and you have to just give thanks because the I say the race is not for the swift, but who could endure till the end. So this evening I wanted to just urge people to just understand the whole foundation of the principles of love, and practice it, and understand that you as an individual have enough power to actually change the world. That every single soul is important. That whatever it is that you've been brought into creation to actually achieve, you can achieve it. Whatever it is that you've been brought into creation to add value to, you could add value. So even in this moment in my personal life, I have been on the battlefield for a while. I have suffered a lot of loss, you know, just because of what I stand up for, and what I work towards as a man. And I understand the metaphysical and the physical and the spiritual and the ethereal, and the mental and emotional aspect of what is happening. Right? So it is up for us now as a people to come together and support the spirit of goodness. How do we deliberately focus on supporting goodness? How do we deliberately take a time out and strengthen whatever we see around us that is good, right? So if it is that you see something good, you support it. You give it your energy. You support it in whatever way that you can support it, and you strengthen it, that goodness could actually permeate through creation. Because a lot of the evil is being supported. So if it is alcohol, you know people will just be, so you'd see people just sell drinking rum, and the worst type of music, shoot this one, kill this one, rape this one, murder her, you know calling our woman all type of derogative names and calling people dogs and this and that. When dog is D-O-G and God is G-O-D. So we rather as a people say, what's up dog, what's up dog, what's up dog, when dog is D-O-G, and dog supposed to be man's best friend, and D-O-G is really G-O-D, which is God, that really supposed to be man's best friend. So we could call one, what's up God, yeah, what's up God, yeah. So when you say is G, or this man that is an original G, I'm an original G, right? So G is God, so you are original God. So when we begin to deliberately articulate ourselves in that spirit of goodness, so I remember, even like we have this Rising of the God podcast with myself and Brother Riza Islam, Chronics, Honorable Prophet Jamal, and Akim Pierre. And people actually send comments and say, priest, why you all call yourself gods and then you're not God? I say, but why are our people still in the trenches, in the gutter? Why would you have a problem if a man, right, say that he's God, and then you want to have a problem with a man's, just my Lord, give thanks, so as Rastafari, as Bobo Shanti, we call one another my Lord, Give thanks. Blessed love, my Lord. Honorable God. Give thanks. So we see godliness in our own. We see godliness in our brothers. We see godliness in our sisters. So we call our sisters goddess and we call our brothers God. So in when you actually are able to see God in your brother and goddess in your sister, then this would dictate how it is that you deal with your brother and how you deal with your sister. Because you never see God and curse God. You would never see God and 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 use vile language in front of God. You'd never do that. You know? You never see God and you'll be upset and then God and pull out your gun and shoot God. You won't do that. Because you reverence God. Now, because everything that have life has God in it, right? So God lives within us. And because God is love, if you are love, you are God, right? So the same way that a good person in flesh is God in flesh, the same way that an evil person in flesh is Satan in flesh. So when it is that we see God in our brothers, then we greet our brothers in that spirit of godliness. So I'd say, blessed love, honorable, give thanks, my Lord. Right? Or blessed love, honorable goddess, honorable empress, give thanks. Right? So then we develop that life, that movement of godliness, that love for one another. We begin to treat one another as gods. But if you call your brother, what's up, dog? You know? How do people treat dogs? I don't know. In America, I see people that put dogs on beds, but in the Caribbean, dogs just be on the street and all type of thing. People just cast stones behind dogs, all type of thing. The dogs, right? Right? So you see the way that they actually treat dogs? Come on, man. So if you call your brother dog, what's up, dog? What's up, dog? And then you call your sister a bitch, right? Why would you call your sister a female dog? Your bitch is a female dog. So they call, and you don't have people, you don't have them same people that will come and put comments on the podcast. They don't go on all these rappers and all these different people that sing music and put comments and say, well, let's stop calling the sisters bitches and the brothers dogs. You know? So if it is that the devil, Satan, evil can call our brothers a dog, D-O-G dog, so why can't we call them G-O-D, God? Right? So D-O-G dog, G-O-D God, yeah? D-O-G dog, G-O-D God, right? So we could begin to, right, communicate and speak godliness and righteousness and upfulness into people, whereby just because of the way that we communicate, the kind of energy that we push into one another, we uplift one another's vibrational frequencies to the level that they themselves begin to manifest that godly power, right? So as for me, right, as for me, Priest Kailash, you know, as for me, I I take this thing there very serious. The power of words and these things there, you know. And I would say it's over 20 something years I never cuss nobody, use no F word and these type of things and curse somebody and well I don't do these things. You know. I understand the power of my language and I take that caution and that care, to speak consciousness and consciously, and just to send out that true vibration of love frequency into creation. So when we begin to look at one another and we could see the divinity, we could see the power, the godliness in one another, then we could begin to treat one another in that level, in that spirit of godliness. Right? So as I say, reverence is relevance. Yeah, it is relevance. So we have that responsibility, right? We have that responsibility among ourselves as a people to begin to deal with one another in that high spirit of love, and begin to directly invest, in words of upliftment and words of positivity. Check for your mother. I would never marry a woman who don't speak to her father. Impossible. How can you don't love your father? That gave birth to you, and you expect, but you won't be able to love me if you don't love your father, right? If it is that you don't love the mother that created you, and you don't speak to your mother, you don't forgive your mother, or you don't forgive yourself, how is it that you are going to be able to love me? So I cannot be in a relationship, or have a woman, you know bear carry my children in a womb that don't speak to her mother. Not at all. You have to go and speak to mommy, and you have to speak to daddy no matter what. So even if you just say daddy, good day daddy, and then you go on your business for whatever reason, you have to nurture and fix up them in relationships, or else you would be passing on the generational curses onto your children and your children. So you have that power, that capacity to intercede, right? To come and break the curse, and check for your father and check for your mother and deal with them in that spirit of love and understanding. Even if they have done aught to you or done wrong to you, just because you understand the value and the fact that they give life to you is enough, and you value them and you love them just because they gave life to you, because without them you wouldn't have been created. So you'd be a hypocrite if it is that you say that you love Jesus and you love Allah and you love Rastafari and you love Buddha, right? And whoever else that you might say that you love, and you don't love your mommy and your daddy, right? Your physical creators, the physical representative of God on earth. Those people that physically created you, right? So let us, understand these high levels of meditation as a people, and begin to exercise our godliness, because for those people who follow the principles of Christ, yeah, for those of you who do follow the principles of Christ, okay? Yes, Christine from Guyana, blessed love. Those of you who follow the principle from Christ, of Christ, let me ask you a question. Those of you online, you all could answer. Those of you in St. Lucia, you could put the number on the screen for us. And we're not religious. I'm not knowing no kind of religious argument. I don't judge nobody based upon their religion. What they think, what they do, that's your business. You and the Creator have your personal relationship. That's you and whatever you choose. If you Anglican, be the best you can. If you Catholic, be the best you can. If you Adventist, be the best you can. If you Muslim, be the best you can. Whatever you are, just be the best you can. Because if it is that you are the best that you can be, right, then eventually you would attain spirituality. And being a spiritual being, you would be indifferent, right? So the purpose of religion is the pathway to obtaining spirituality, as Kadamawi Haile Selassie I say, right? What about loving them from a distance? All in your heart is love for them, but don't speak with them. What's about this? But of course, why would you love someone? Love is an action word. You know, you cannot love people from a distance. That's insane, really. I mean, you check for them. You whatever. You don't have to go and see if it is that they are of a different thing with you, whatever, because you still your love is an action word. You just check for them. If it's their birthday, you send them something. If you could afford, you take care of them. If they're suffering and they're sick and they don't have anything to eat, you make sure that they are fed, they are clothed, they are taken care of. As long as you have that capacity within your own self. Because love is an action word. It's not like I love you, I love you, I love you. No, it's an action word. I mean, the love is the things that you do, those tangible, physical things that you do. I'm not talking about no cough tonight. Don't ask me about no chronic cough. Love is that you could just send us an email or send us a direct message. We'll be talking about some other type of thing tonight. Kushite, right? Just send us a DM, and we'll tell you what we have for chronic coughs, right? So that spirit and that essence of love is something different. So let us just understand that it's a direct thing. Yes, you could love them from a distance. That would mean that you are doing physical, tangible things that naturally uplift them from that distance. Right? Yeah. So give thanks for all those of you who are alive with us tonight. And as I was saying, I'll ask a question. A very simple question. Yeah. Why is it that they crucified the Christ of 2000 and something years ago? Why did they crucify the Christ 2000 years ago? Why is it that they crucified the Christ 2000 years ago? So Raja Booth said, I love my mother and my father endlessly. 100. Word can't even explain. That's why you must make your actions explain. Yes, Prophet Amon, give thanks for life. The numbers on the screen. Those of you who want to call, I ask a very simple question. For all of you religious people outside there that follow the principles of Christ, why did they say that Christ was crucified? Tell me. Sometimes you must love from a distance. I say there is love from a distance. Is not something that you say you love somebody from a distance and then you don't do nothing for them. When you love somebody, you check for them. There are things that you do. So even if I don't see my mother for a month because of whatever I am doing, my mother feels my presence because there are tangible things that I do, right, that my mother feels it. I take care of her, I nurture her, yeah. Yes, Dylan, blessed. Right, so there are plenty of things that you do for people that are genuine. Christ was crucified because he was going against the majority belief, which was wickedness. Yeah, okay. Well, you could say that, but I mean, there was a very specific thing that the Bible spoke about. Blessed love says, what about the parents that abuse their children? They use them and mistreat them. Can't you then love from a distance then? Yeah, well, I mean, as I say, it's action, right? If your parents abuse you, because which sin is the worst sin? Is a sin of killing somebody worse than watching your friend's wife and wanting to um, um, have an adulterous relationship with your friend's wife? What's worse? What's worse? Is it murdering somebody worse than seeing watching another man's wife, or doing something, you know, right? You understand? So you have to wait, but sin don't have no extent. When you do wrong, it's just wrong. There are certain things that are just evil. Sometimes even an abusive, most abusive parents will abuse themselves. That's why you have to break the curse, right? Because when your parents, if your parents abuse you, right? You, that's the abused child, there is that spiritual curse that is upon you, that more than likely you're going to abuse your own child, right? So resolving that situation with your mother or your father, or that abuse you, right, would assist you, right, to break down that curse, that you don't abuse your own child. So I'm not telling you that if you're whatever wrong your father and them do you, that you have to go and lie down with them, or I don't eat my mother's food. I don't eat my mother. My mother don't really cook for me, because I am just of a different tradition. I It's a different thing. But I love my mother. I demonstrate it by physical, tangible ways, that she would understand that I love her. Right? So even if whatever your parents have done, you must have that sense of forgiveness. Right? You must have that sense of forgiveness. You being able just to forgive yourself, you being able to overstand that one good thing that they did for you. So even if they did 1,000 bad things, but the fact that they gave you life, right, you just dwell on that, right, and you give thanks for that. So I'm not saying that you have to go and sleep in the same bed with them, right? I'm just saying that you don't hold that spirit of vengeance, and wickedness against your own creator. It destroys you. When you speak bad of your mother, you speak bad of yourself, because your mother is an extension of you. When you speak bad of your father, you speak bad of yourself, because they are an extension of you. Right? So you have to come to this space whereby you fully understand what is happening, right? And then you are able to let go, because what you are doing, you are saving yourself, and not because you care more of this, about you care about yourself, because you understand that you are breaking generational curses. And I'm not just saying this out of a space of not knowing. I'm saying this as someone who has actually dealt with thousands of people that come to my office in my space and sit down, and problems and problems and problems and problems, whereby I'm able to see the mother come, then the child is being abused, and then the situation just keeps on getting worse and worse and worse. So to break these curses, to deal with them, right, you have to be able to let go, because there are people who have done us a lot of things, a lot of things these people have done us, and yet still we still show them love. Lots of people do plenty things and you still show them love. Yeah, give thanks, blessed love. A lot of people do us plenty things and we still show them love, and they abuse us in worse ways than our mothers and fathers abuse us, and we still check for them, and we still work for them, and we still go, and we still do all type of things. So then what greater love shall we have for the persons that created us? So give thanks for life and a mighty life giver. Give thanks for all those of you that was there. The reason why they crucified Christ was because they said that thou art man and maketh thyself God. That's why they crucified Christ, because he called himself the Son of God. And they said, thou art man and thou maketh thyself God, So give thanks, for the love of God, for that godliness that all of us have to actually carry within our own self, and fully understand that, and we need to fully understand that, like fully, 100%. Tropical vegans, This topic needs much more attention and conversation. I think we shy from parents and children relationship. All if children are suffering from parents' behaviors and intentions. Of course, I suffered from my parents' intentions and things, and that's something I shy away from. Something I talk in the openly about. But then there is a higher level of overstanding, right? Tropical vegans. When I grew my locks, right, at the age of 19, 18, 19. Remember that I was like a very intelligent child. I was like extremely bright. And there I am growing my locks. And Rastafari, within that framework, was seen as one of the worst things that a child could do. You growing your locks. Da, 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 da. My mother was very upset. Okay, my mother was very upset, to the point that she said that, why is Rasta you going? Da, 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 you could do anything. It's Rasta you want to become. Da, 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 da. If I knew you were Rasta. Da, 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 da. And I was at the age of 18, and I cried. Tears came out of my eyes. And after that, I never cried again. And my mother said this, I said, but wait, I want to do something upful of myself. And my mother is saying that I could choose to do anything else except being a Rasta. I could sell drugs. I could do that. Then now, when the Spirit of God actually came and enlightened me, then I overstood. I got that understanding that the reason why my mother said all the things that she said was because she knew that when a young man, no matter how intelligent, how bright you are, when you put a locks on your head, that means you can't get a job. That is sufferation. You might get shot by police. You'll be brutalized, victimized, like it's sufferation for you. So when my mother told me all these things, it wasn't out of wickedness and hatred. It was out of the pain that she did not want to feel in losing a son or seeing her son going through a tumultuous time. So most times our parents do things and our parents say things, and then we just ride on it, but we have to understand that he that knows better just do better. you know um Fully focus on the goodness inside of you, and see how is it that you could uplift yourself. So give thanks for all those of you who join us this evening, and I give thanks for all those people who are late. Some of you are late. We are just closing up. We give thanks for all those of you who joined us, and we give thanks for this divine opportunity. As we were talking of the state of affairs when it comes to yes, hot hands. How you doing, man? Give thanks. Affairs when it comes to the amount of violence and murder and death that is in this little country, St. Lucia. If less than 200,000 people, St. Lucia has less than 200,000, about 160, 70,000 people, and already 66 murders. So for last week alone, about 4 or 5 people shot. And as I was saying in the beginning, like one of them last strong was my blood brother, who was shot and gunned down. So I am not speaking in vengeance in my heart or wickedness. I'm just telling it to you exactly how it is. That what is happening is a product of our society. So let us now, as a people, directly work towards alleviating these problems. Let us work towards uplifting ourselves from the trenches. We know how it is when it comes to black on black crime. How people just kill one another, have no regard for life. That is because they have no regard for themselves. So as I was saying, let us see ourselves as gods and goddesses of creation. So when you see God in your brother, then you could deal with him like a God. When you see goddess in your sister, you could deliver her as a goddess and deliver it for a level of respect. And when they speak to you, you could take their words, as words of right, you know. So give thanks for all those of you that have joined us this evening, or strength and power, or peace divine. We close at 8:40. Our show, our wasn't a show, our program of education, the schoolroom started a bit late tonight. So those of you who might have any questions, I see plenty of you all were asking health questions. But this program tonight was not on health issues, right? It was about something higher than that kind of spiritual wellness. King Doug, we need to start doing unto others as we would have them do unto us, and we need to love our neighbors as ourselves. Then we shall move forward with a full heart of love. Give thanks, my brother. Blessed love, Christine. Blessed love, give thanks, Priscilla. Give thanks, Honorable, for your love. Give thanks for always being here and always checking on us and always showing us that high level of love. We do give thanks for all those of you. Ernie Boo, sending love and light, I receive. Jamie Albert, give thanks, bro. Give thanks, encouragement for the youths to live a better life and love for each other. Give thanks, okay. Love to 829, blessings to you and yours, Honorable Priest. Give thanks, Raja Boof, love and gratitude. Give thanks, Nicole Williams. Give thanks and peace through your grievance for loss of your brother that way. Agreed. Okay, Nicole, give thanks. Fruit Warrior, love, love, love. Give thanks. Prophet Edison, you just came in. Mama Earth Healing Juices, give thanks and I will for speaking to matters of the soul that we can start healing our communities from that level. You are a blessing also, beloved. Lucian Girl, blessed love, give thanks. Prophet Edison, heart of love. My son, you know you are son to I. So definitely, as you know, well, definitely we many of our young people, our young brothers, they need that level of mentorship, that level of strength. Yes, Uncle Digit, blessed love, honorable, hopeful, starting on your golden child soon. Definitely, we will be using that golden child. Probably by next time you come, we'll have that golden child. Tio Pepe, give thanks, honorable. Give thanks to all love and peace divine for all those of you who are with us this evening. I pray that the Almighty Creator keep on blessing you and make His holy face shine upon you. And I pray that we move in that spirit of brotherhood and sisterhood. And we pray that as a people that we take, we pay attention, and as parents, we don't only pay the rent, that we really take the time out to just love our children and show them that love. Because our children are what they are is, what we see today is a product of our society. So let's not just blame the external forces. Let us look within ourselves first. If you're a mother or if you're a father, give your child a hug or tell them you love them. Encourage them in the good things that they are doing. And if you're a son or if you're a daughter, tell your mother and your father that you love them, even if they've never said it to you. Show them that love. Their uncle, their auntie, show them the love. And they're not kids. Kids are baby goats. They are children. Chi, C-H-I. They are full of chi energy. C-H-I. So don't call them kids. They're not kids. So we call them children. Chi, Tai Chi, Chi Gong, because they have a lot of chi energy. Give thanks, basically. That is what it is. ST agreed. Here in Trinidad, there is a lot of killing also. There is. It's very deliberate. So we that stand up for the forces of right, let us stand manfully and womanfully and godfully and goddessfully, right, to intercede with a spirit of love and goodness to defeat the enemy. Give thanks for life and a mighty life. Give all love and peace divine. Those of you who don't know our website is monkey-clue.com. Definitely, I pray most of you get the herbal manual already. We are going to be launching our herbal manual study group very soon. So those of you, we are allowing for the first set of you to get all your books that your need. Yes, Rashima, check the DM. So those of you who have a message, just send me a DM, anything whatsoever. Just send me a direct message. We will respond to it. We need some of your answer in Guyana. I will be coming to Guyana in February next year. So look out for us in Guyana February next year. Definitely. So all love and prosperity, peace divine. Do take care of your beautiful selves. And remember that I love the I and the I and the I and the I. And my love is an action word. As I come and I speak to you and I invest my time and energy with you, and we have that wonderful time together. So I too love the I and the I and the I. Right? Love, love, love. Blessed love. Give thanks. Jah Rastafari. Blessed.